Once again, today we are celebrating the beautiful solemnity of the most holy Trinity. Whenever we start to talk about the Trinity, it can get really confusing really quick. So let's remember, the Trinity is God. And hopefully right there, like, ooh, this makes more sense, right? The Trinity is God. Yes, three persons, one being the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That forms that communion of love. And that love, that what does he want to do with it? He wants to share it with us. The amazing thing about God is that he doesn't have to share it. There's no benefit for him. It's truly just a gift that he longs to give so that we may share in him. Of course, we heard about this in our gospel today, that if we have been baptized, that now we are truly claimed as God's children. We can cry out, as St. Paul said in Romans, we can cry out, Abba, Father, Dad, and experience this great love that he longs for us to have, to abide in him in us. We also know, as I've said before, I'll preach about it again, I'm sure as well, that the Trinity, that God is a mystery. But just because he's a mystery does not mean that we don't know anything about him. Rather, what are we called to do? To spend time with him, letting himself reveal himself more and more to us. Yes, through the study of God, but even more importantly, by the revealing of who he is. And who he is love. God is love. But so often, we think of him not as love. We think of him in a certain sense as trying to hurt us, or to trap us, or to fool us. It's Monsignor Boyan in the book, which I've quoted many times already this year. You can tell it's becoming one of my favorite books, by the way. But it's a book titled, This Tremendous Lover. It's a weird title, by the way. I'm not going to lie, right? But with this, it just really explains how much God truly loves us, almost in an inexpressible way, because it doesn't make sense. We know that. And yet, what does he long for? To give us the gift of himself, the gift of love. Monsignor Boyan uses kind of an image. He says, we all know the cringing, fearful way in which a dog shrinks away from our caress if he had been previously ill-treated by others. We've seen this. We've probably seen videos, right? Or these heartwarming commercials, right? Where they show a dog who has come into the shelter. And yet whenever a human being approaches, what do? They shrink away. And it takes time, eventually even up to a year longer, for that dog finally to feel the embrace of the human being. Monsignor Boyan goes on. One meets children whose arm goes up to ward off a blow as soon as anyone in authority approaches them. And that's sad to see. When children are afraid of adults, maybe because people in authority had not exercised that out of love, but out of fear. He goes on. The same sort of attitude is often found with regards to God. He is thought of as a hard master, over-exacting, meticulous, setting traps for his creatures, and almost only anxious to catch them in wrongdoing. Brothers and sisters, I bet you all of us have felt that way about God sometimes. That he is a hard master, that he sets traps for us, that he wants to catch us in wrongdoing. But that is not the God of the Trinity. It is not the God of love. Instead, all he longs for is for us to abide in him and to allow him to abide in us and to love us in the inmost depths of our heart. This is who God is. But if our concept of God is of the negative, Father Boyan says, no true love of God is possible with such a concept in one's mind. So what should our concept of God be then? I'll use another example, and it's actually one I shared about a month ago for our men's night kind of gathering. And it's from a very silly movie, I'll be honest with you. But I watched it as a kid, and it really stuck with me. It's from the movie Little Giants. Now, maybe you've seen the movie, maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, it's a story of kids who are rejected by the varsity football team. Maybe that's why it stuck with me a little bit, by the way. But these kids are rejected. They're kind of the outcasts. They're just not really good at football. And so the dad of the quarterback, the female quarterback, starts his own team, and they call it the Little Giants. Of course, they take on the Cowboys, the big, tough team, the pride of the town. One of the characters in Little Giants, his name is Johnny. And Johnny is very shy. But all Johnny longs for is to be with his dad. But his dad is a businessman, often every single day, going to the office or even flying away on trips. And Johnny just longs to spend time with his dad. So it comes to the game, and sure enough, the Little Giants are down, but they're making a comeback. And the coach sees that Johnny's dad is walking towards the stadium. So they call a play for Johnny to get the football. They go into the huddle, and they call the play, and Johnny goes, "What play is that?" It says, the play is called, "Give the ball to Johnny." He goes, "That can't be right. I'm Johnny," right? Like he's just not a good football player. He's very timid. He's very shy. And he's very anxious now. So the play gets called, and all of a sudden the quarterback says, "Run towards him." And Johnny sees his dad, and he goes, "Dad, Dad." And all of a sudden Johnny starts running. And he looks like Barry Sanders, by the way. Like he is cutting, he is diving, and there's this huge smile on his face. And Johnny gets to the end zone, but he doesn't care. It's not about the touchdown. He goes right into the embrace of his dad, who picks him up. That's what we need to do with God. But the beautiful thing is, God never abandons us. He doesn't go on a trip away. We go back to our gospel today, and what does it say? This beautiful last line. "And behold, I am with you always until the end of the age." God longs for us to experience his love. He longs for us to experience his love. All he wants for you to experience is his embrace. Now we can be honest. Maybe we have some wounds in our life. Maybe it's even hard calling God our Father. There's wounds. Now we need to go to the Lord and let him be the one who is what? That divine physician, the healer of our inmost soul. This is who God is. He's not out to harm you. He's not out to get us. He's out to love us. And it's hard to express. That's why the Trinity is hard, because it's a mystery. How can he love us? Does he know who we are? He does. He created you in his image and in his likeness. We have a God who is full of love. So my brothers and sisters, go and explore that mystery every day. Not to be afraid, but opening up your heart to him, crying out, Abba, Father, Dad, and to know that he is there, longing to embrace you and for you to embrace him.